If you're tuning into this video and this channel right now, you probably want to learn how to build a $1 million Amazon business. In this video today, I break down the exact math on how to do that. The number of products, the monthly revenue per product, the profitability, and the cash flow to get to 7 figures. Let's go. What is up, guys? If this is your first time here, welcome to Heist. If you've been here before, you know what we're about to do. Dropping course level, deep dive content on how to build successful Amazon FBA businesses. In today's video, we're gonna go from this concept, this esoteric idea of a 7-figure Amazon business, and we're gonna literally run the math. I'm gonna jump into a Google Sheets. We're gonna crunch the numbers so you can figure out all the various permutations and combinations to get to a 7-figure Amazon business. Enough of an intro, let's dive into my computer. All right, guys, so the purpose of the math that I'm about to run through right here is going to be to get to this $1 million run rate, which is, I think, what we're all after, right? You get over $1 million, you're typically going to be doing a couple $100,000 in net income, do a couple $100,000 in net income, and you ultimately sell the business or just want to quit your job. That's a life-changing figure for most of us in terms of hitting freedom and controlling our own destiny. So that's what we're going to dive into. Before I get into the details, though, if you're liking this content, hit the like button. Reason being, some additional incentive today. Once this video hits 100 likes, I'm going to post a comment at the top of this video that will provide access to this spreadsheet that we're about to build out. So if you're getting value out of this, hit the like button, subscribe, you know the drill. Okay, so on the $1 million front, the first thing to understand how you get to $1 million is to reverse engineer the math. And that's what we're gonna do today. Step number one, if you're making $1 million a year in terms of revenue, it's determining what you need per month in terms of revenue. So all you gotta do here, pretty simple. Divided by 12, it's $83,333. So if you can do that every single month, times it by 12, guess what? You've got $1 million. The next question then is to figure out, okay, there's a lot of different products I can select, and some of those will have higher or lower revenue ranges on a monthly basis. I can then figure out for my budget or for the kind of product that I want to target in terms of monthly revenue, how many of those products will I need to sell on a monthly basis to hit $83,000. The cluster that I'm going to look at today is between $5,000 and $30,000. Can you sell products that do less than $5,000 a month? Potentially, yeah. But generally speaking, should be at least $5,000 should be your target for your kind of singles, so to speak. And then up to $30,000, I think, is within the budget of most people watching this channel and most people looking to get into the Amazon game. So I'm going to look at the upper range. You can obviously sell a lot more. I've got many products that sell, well over that, some in the 6-figure range. You can totally do that. It's just a different arena, requires a different budget, different level of expertise, and different level of competition. So to keep it simple, we're going to look at $5,000 to $30,000. So let's just go ahead and assume the starting is 5,000 here. Let's just do this. And then we will run this down to 30,000. Boom. All right, let's shrink this so we can see it. All right, so there you go. So there's 30,000. Let's make it a little bit smaller. So the next question is going to be for each one of these revenue ranges, which might dictate what your budget is. How many of those products do I need to sell on a monthly basis to hit $83,000? So using this first sell as an example, if I'm selling $5,000 products, how many do I need to sell to do 83 grand a month? 16.7 products. So if I've got roughly 17 products doing $5,000 a month, every single month, I've got $1 million a year Amazon business. So let's just run this down for all these different revenue levels so we can kind of do the math here. Just gonna fix this one. So we scroll this down, and you'll see here down near the $30,000 a month per product range, I only need basically 3 products, 2.8 products in this case. If I want to do kind of down the middle, 15,000, I need 5.6 products doing 15,000 bucks. So this gives you a really tangible idea of like, hey, look, I don't have $1 million to start. I don't even have 100,000 bucks to start. Maybe I've got 5 or 10,000 bucks. You might be looking at these $5,000 to $10,000 per month range products. Gives you an idea, a tangible idea of how many of these would I need at my current budget rate to get to $1 million bucks. And this is a good way to kind of diagnose the number of products. The next thing you want to figure out is what is the daily sales per product needed to get to that monthly run rate. So in this case, I'm basically taking this $1 million figure, I'm dividing it by 365, so the number per day, and then I'm dividing it by the number of products. So this is basically saying here I need $164 per product per day to hit $1 million bucks. And again, if we run this thing all the way down, it's going to give you an idea here on what I need to do for each product per day. And then finally, if I want to figure out for each one of these revenue rates, as well as the number of products that I need to hit that run rate, how many launches would I need to do every single quarter to reach that $1 million run rate in 1 year? So that's pretty simple. You just take the number of products for each revenue level and you divide it by 4 for 4 quarters. Run that down. So here you're having to launch 4 products a quarter. If you're doing the smaller level $5,000 products. If you're doing $10,000 a month products, you're going to need 2 products a quarter for a year to reach $1 million bucks. And again, it's simple math, right? As you start to get to higher revenue level products, you don't need to launch as many to hit your goal. So that's a good starting point. The monthly sales per product in terms of dollar revenue, how many products you need to sell to hit $1 million bucks, and how many launches you would need to do a quarter. Let's see what this looks like in terms of unit sales across these different revenue rates. So for this one, I've done all the pre-math to save the drama of fledgling through the spreadsheet. But again, once this thing hits 100 likes, I'm going to post and pin a comment that will give you access to the spreadsheet. But this kind of just shows you for each one of these different monthly sales rates, it'll also tell you, hey, depending on how much I sell that product for, it'll give me a definitive idea on how many unit sales I would need per day on average. So again, looking at this cluster, I kind of like this, 10 to 20,000 just to keep this simple. I also like to sell products more than 30 bucks. So I've kind of shown a range here of 30 to 75 bucks. If you want to sell cheaper products, I've got down to 15 bucks per product here, all the way up to $140 per product. So you can kind of determine, depending on the price of the product, how many units would I need to sell at each of these different monthly revenue rate levels. So here's an example, right? If I'm looking at a $10,000 a month product and it's selling for $30 on Amazon, I would need to sell 11 of these products per day to hit 10,000 bucks a month. Now let's say I wanted to do 20,000 bucks a month. I'd need almost 22 units of sales per day at 30 bucks. If I wanted to sell a product for more money at a unit cost level, let's say I'm selling a $75 product and I want to do 20,000 bucks a month on that product, I need to sell 8.8 on average per day. And then the same math to the raw facts over here will show me how many of these products I need to hit $1 million bucks. So again, very tangible. When you start thinking about this $1 million concept, it seems big, or it might just seem kind of like, how in the heck can I get there, especially if you're just starting out. You got to reverse engineer this stuff. Do the math, crunch the numbers, figure out your own budget, figure out the kinds of products you want to sell in terms of monthly revenue, and then you can pretty easily piece your way back, determining how many products you want to sell, and then ultimately using the second tab, what price points I can sell at and how many units I need per day to hit that target. And you run this math out, you have a consistent battle plan on the types of products you target, and it's very, very tangible and frankly quite easy to diagnose, visualize, and understand how to get to $1 million run rate. So revenue is great. What would we do in terms of profit? So I'm taking the simple example here of doing a $10,000 a month product at $30 price point, so the lowest one on that kind of spectrum of clusters I looked at. So again, I'm going to need to be selling a little over 8 of these types of products to get to $83,000 a month. And I'm going to need to do 11 units per day of each one of those products in order to hit that run rate. So I'm talking about 330 units total across that 8.3 products that I would need to hit. And I've just kind of thrown in some pretty basic math on the types of ranges that I would typically see or typically target. So the COGS is going to run roughly 23% of the revenue of the product. And then the profit before all the crazy expenses and all that stuff is roughly 35%. So this is pretty standard down the middle stuff using a very basic, realistic example of what you could achieve in terms of selling products on Amazon. So if I run through this, again, if I'm hitting this level, I'm doing $83,000 a month, which would give me, in this case, $996,000 in a year. This is what my COGS would run. And then my profit on this would basically be $255,000. So that's what that would look like in terms of running and clustering all of those products together, all 8.3 products, selling 11 per day, 330 per month, into a month by month tally in terms of both revenue and profit. So profit's great. Let's figure out how much this would actually cost us looking at a single product example. So cash flow is king. And I think one of the dirty secrets of Amazon is the fact that you've got to put money in to launch and build a product. That's pretty obvious. What many people don't realize, though, is that even if you're successful, if your launch goes to plan, if you have customers clamoring for your product, if you're winning, so to speak, with the product, you're typically going to need to fork over money before you've even had enough money come in the door from those sales to pay for that second batch. And frankly, that first 6 to 10 months of a product's life cycle, you're likely going to need to have reserves of cash, especially if you're successful, in order to reach and sustain success with that product. So it's not just the upfront costs. It's not just the launch cost. It's the ongoing inventory management to scale and meet sales and success of products as they happen. So this little breakdown shows what cash flow looks like. So again, pretty simplistic. Oftentimes you need to put a deposit down, and then when it ships, you put the remainder down. So I'm not looking at those kind of timings. I'm looking at this pretty simplistically, but I'm looking at a 12-month period. Let's say I'm launching my first product. Again, I'm looking at this $10,000 a month product, $30 price point, 11 sales per day. If I run this down using my COGS example, it's probably going to cost me about $6,800 in my first run of inventory for month one. Let's say I hit the ground running and I'm hitting that $10,000 roughly run rate on a monthly basis. Got the revenue coming in. I've got my net profit, assuming 30% in this case. And then I would end the month at negative $3,861. So I've forked over this money. I've started to sell stuff, made some profit. So I've chipped away at my negative balance, but I still don't have any positive cash flow yet because I had this upfront investment in product. So month 2 comes. I continue to run that down. And because I brought in more profit, I brought in more sales, I've chipped away at my net cash flow position. So I'm now only down $891. Okay, I'm almost at break even. Bonus month 2. Month 3, I'm in the money. I've got some net profit coming through, and I'm actually cash flow positive here. Sweet, I'm in the money. I'm rich, baby. I got 2 G's in the bank. My product's killing it. I'm doing 10 grand a month. Well, guess what? You've got to order your product because you're out. You've only ordered 3 months worth of product, say, in your first $6,000 or $6,800 payment, and you've got to now buy more to keep those sales going. So guess what? I've got $2,000 in the bank, but I've got to go buy again $6,831. So my net on this is, call it $4,800 now. I've got to go back and pay again. So not only did I need $6,800 to kick this thing off and start selling at $10,000 a month, I now have to kick in $4,800 to get my second order in. And I'm successful. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm hitting that $10,000 a month. I've got good profit margins. Things are looking good. This is what you need to be aware of when scaling and building a $1 million Amazon business. We'll continue this through. Again, month 5, we're still rolling it in. We're starting to get profitability. We're humming, but guess what? I've got $4,100 in the bank before I need to order this next round. So guess what? Not only did I need the $6,800 to start, not only did I need the $4,800 to buy my second order, I'm not quite at my COGS level, so I've got to dump another $2,800 for this third order here in month 7. And this is a successful product. So the good news is once you pass through the 7-month mark, typically you're going to be in the money and the products are going to self-sustain themselves at that point on their own profits, on the cash that's spitting out. So we'll see here that kind of by the end of the year, we've got $8,300 in net cash position. So every order after that, we're going to be able to afford, and we're actually going to have money coming in even above and beyond the COGS of the product. But it's not simple and it's not easy. You've either got to have cash reserves or you've got to have smart debt that you can leverage from working capital basis to be able to purchase inventory and scale a business. So that's one example, one product, right? So in this case, the single product here did $118,000 roughly in revenue. Again, if I had 8.3 of those, I'd be hitting my $1 million run rate mark, right? I spit off, in this case, $35,000 in profit, but my net money out to buy the first round of inventory, the second round that I didn't quite have enough cash on, and the third, which I didn't quite have enough cash on, cost money of $14,850. Now, do you need to have that to launch a $10,000 a month product? No. You probably want enough for at least the first 2 rounds, and then you can use other kind of debt to be able to purchase those long-running ones once you've validated that the product works and then it's profitable. You can negotiate terms with your vendor at that point, say when you're 6 months in and you have a track record. But just realize that you see these top-line numbers of a product. Awesome, I'm doing 10 grand a month. It's 118 grand a year. I'm rich. I'm killing it. Well, guess what? You're going to need to find 15 grand to be able to make that happen. And if you want to build $1 million business, well, it's pretty simple, right? We just kind of do the math here times 8.3, which is the number of products in this $10,000 a month range. You're going to need $123,000 either in cash reserves or debt assets that you can leverage to scale and grow a business to reach that $1 million mark. So that's it, guys. I hope this is illuminating from the raw facts of, hey, what is my monthly sales and how many products do I need to hit that $83,000 magic number? What are my unit sales at different price points for all of those different monthly revenue ranges? What does my profitability look like? And then cash is king, baby. What does the cash position look like from a cash flow standpoint? Hope you guys are using this channel as a resource to scale and grow to your 7-figure Amazon business. If you've got any questions about my journey, about this video, drop a comment down below. And just remember, 100 comments gets you access to this beautiful Google Sheets. We'll see you on Monday for Mental Game Monday, as well as other deep dive Amazon content next week. So if you got value out of this, smash the subscribe button, hit a like, drop a comment, and we will see you next week. Cheers.